Julia Trask, welcome to an episode of The Impact of Mindset. I'm really excited to be joined by Sarah Gray from Foodtrition to talk all things nutrition, eating well, sustainably for life. So, hello, Sarah, how are you?
Hi, everybody. I'm really well, thank you. How are you, Julia?
Yeah, really good, thanks. Super pumped to be talking to you today about eating well. I think
Good to
it's
be
something
here.
that everyone can benefit from. So, tell us about what it is that you do and how you help people.
Okay, so I have a very holistic view of food. So I basically work on anyone that's struggling with their weight, energy levels, or just empowerment, want to get their nutrition back online, all based on food. So food and nutrition go hand in hand. That's what I work on. So no, I don't really push supplements or anything like that. Basically getting all we need, changing the way people view food, their relationship with food, and really just a really holistic view of it, because it's so skewed by different things that are going on in the world today. And that's what I do. That's what I specialize in.
Yeah. Do you mind if we just unpack what some of those things that skew our perception of food and nutrition are?
No, that's fine. I am actually working with some young girls at the moment, their view of food. They won't eat their lunches in front of their friends because they're going to be considered fat. There's not a healthy weight anymore. It seems to be skinny or you're just not in. That seems to be one really skewed perception. Social media has a lot to do with that, I think, with all their filters. I'm only new to social media and the things that your phone can do when it takes photos, but my daughters are very adept at it. So they've showed me all kinds of things. So I think that has a really big impact on everyone as well. I also think, people have a lot of people have the mental health side of it, or the self-esteem, food addiction problems. So we all have our own little perceptions of healthy eating, what food means to us, and they can become very skewed through the years. As we become a mother, we read something, we see something works for us, we try to push it on to other people.
Mm.
And it kind of snowballs. It just gets out of control. We're back to the basics. The really simple, clean eating seems to be the most effective and takes people away from everything else going on that might be getting pushed down their throat.
Yeah, I love that last point that you make about you experiencing success with something and then trying to push it on others. Because I've been in work environments before where you don't talk, but you just stop and listen. And just amongst women, you can hear like so many different pieces of advice that's not tailor made or nothing. It's just like, try this, try that. And oh my goodness, you could walk away highly confused, have no idea, but yet trying like 17 different fad diets.
Exactly. And I get that a lot wherever I go, just listening to people and the advice that they're giving each other. And I bite my tongue. I very rarely speak unless I'm asked, because it can just cause a whole nother set of issues. But my advice on a professional level, I love to give and I love to help people.
Yeah. And it's really about getting those skewed perceptions into something that works for us long term, isn't it?
Yes, and everyone's individual. What works for one person won't work for another. And you hear that all the time also. I hear a lot of nutritionists and dietitians say that. But from my own personal opinion and my what I've seen happening just with my different clients, it's really true. I came into being a nutritionist with all these great ideas, but it really depends on the individual, their mindset, their growth, how aware they are of different food issues that they might have, and even different macros and micros that can affect each individual differently.
Yeah. What about food habits and things like that? Because, of course, when it comes to confidence and working with high performers, which is the audience I work with all the time, we start with those habits that give the consistent action that builds that competency and confidence. So
Yeah.
what about those food habits that perhaps kind of derail people from wanting to have that positive relationship with food?
Well, I actually work with some boxers also, and that is a very weight orientated sport. And I see the struggle, especially the females have, because of course males have a totally different metabolism when it comes to anything than females. So the poor girls are really, down in the dumps about, why isn't this working for me? So a lot of the time they'll starve themselves. Then they binge eat afterwards. I've known one young girl that can put 5 kilos on in one night, and I mean, that's a lot of eating in one night. Yeah. So it's all those slowly it's a lot of retraining and just getting them to go back and work out why they're doing it in the first place. They love their sport. That's a great place to start, but they want to do it in a healthy way, because otherwise they won't be able to compete at a high level in their sport anyway. So breaking those little habits and working with them one-on-one so they can see they can do it healthily, I think that is a really big thing. I've just done that with one young boxer, and I think it's finally starting to get through that, I don't have to starve myself 2 weeks out of a fight. I can cut my carbohydrate back a little bit, lose that weight, and then spike it up again after she's weighed in, which, different sports have all different kinds of rules and different needs. And I appreciate that, but it really is just about retraining. It really is. And you yourself, as a nutritionist, I have to be comfortable with what I'm showing them and teaching them. It's not a fly by my pants thing, because if it doesn't work for them, then they've failed, and then you've created more issues with their food management and their relationship with food.
Yeah, of course. So it's got to be, I guess, a lot of what you do would cover both how you do it as an individual, but also when you're back in an environment with a group of people who are going to influence you, what that
exactly
looks like. Yeah.
Very much so.
What sort of advice do you give to people, like general advice? Obviously, it's not going to be tailor-made right now, but general advice to give to people when they're in an environment that they are going to have those, 15, 17 different bits of people telling them different things, to stick to what they are trying to do for their specific reasons?
That's a really tough one, because that really does come down to personality, commitment, how bad they want something. I've met some young athletes who are so focused, they just stay the right weight the whole time, and they don't need to struggle with, they don't need to put any on, take any off. It's a walk in the park for them. But then you have others that I've worked with, and that is a really big issue. They all go to Macca's so with their friends, so they have to either not go and not have that social life, or be strong enough to say no. And that takes a lot of work, a lot of effort, a lot of commitment, especially if they're not, don't have that personality themselves. They have to remember why they're doing it. That's the first thing. Remember what their goals are. Remember why they're doing this. Remember where they're heading, what they want out of it, and whether they want to do it in a healthy way or not. Because in long term, your body's going to feel the effects of those sports. So that's something else to bring to their attention also. Yeah. There are so many things incorporated in it. It's really hard to, without, actually working with a person, to know which way to go with them. But, being strong enough to say no, they don't have to fit in with the peer pressure. It's something that, I think I'm a mother of 5 children, and I think I've always showed my kids that from a very young age. And I've noticed that they are more able to say no to things, whether it's not talking about food in general, but just that grounding. If someone's had that grounding, it's a lot easier for them to say, no, this is the way I want to do it, and not give in to that peer pressure. And it's a real issue. I find that some athletes be trying to do the right thing, but their friend who has just starved himself for 2 weeks is already at goal weight, and they think, no, that's the way to do it. So pointing out too that you don't put crappy fuel in a race car. It doesn't run at its peak. Using metaphors and things like that, little ideas to keep them focused. You have to put good fuel, super fuel, into a top race car for it to perform at its peak performance. So, and that's the same as humans. It's very, very much the same, and that's the way I try and focus on it.
Yeah,
there are no fixes with it.
No, and I think that's also part of the retraining as well. Like, people are we live in such an instantaneous world where it's like you can have what you want now. We have Afterpay for different things, and we don't even have to put any money to anything to actually get what we want. So yeah, with so much of our different aspects of our lives on getting everything now, it's no wonder why we don't want to have sustainable options, even though we're aware of what they are,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'm really interested about what kind of take you have on, because away from the athlete space, high performing business owners or leaders in the corporate world can work to get their nutrition to help them have better productivity and clarity.
Yep.
If you've got any tips on that.
Well, good wholesome food's the key. We've all heard it. Processed foods, they have a lot of sugars, saturated fats, hidden fats, even trans fats that we think are null and void in our food these days. There's still bits lurking around. Now, these foods have been known to have a link to depression, anxiety, PTSD. So if you're eating in that way, you're not going to be, reaching your peak performance in business either. Business is a very stressful thing, even as it is. You know that, and I know that.
Yeah.
It's not something that's a walk in the park. So you need to be running, again, at your optimum. And without that nourishment and that constant feeding and sleep and hydration and exercise, all those things are so important to reaching it. So for someone that's a business owner or high up, running companies and so forth, they really need a healthy diet plan. They need to be able to stick with it. Something that, 80-20 is a really good way of looking at it. So 80% of good, healthy choices and 20% of just having fun and enjoying themselves. Because most people look at food as good and bad. I choose not to see that, not to look at it like that. I think all food is good. You need to eat. It doesn't matter what it is. It's just that there are better choices than other choices. So if we're running flat stick every day and we've got a lot of pressure on us and our cortisol gets high, we need the foods that are going to bring that down. And, your fresh fruit and veggies are the best things for that. Also, alcohol. Alcohol is actually a depressant. So although it can help us unwind at times, it can also cause us to, just saying, I'm not saying you can't drink, but yeah, it's just something that, to be aware of. Because if you do want to perform at your best, and I don't know how many of your clients have children also, but I know for myself, trying to run a business, and my husband runs his own business, so actually I'm running two businesses and looking after the kids, it's high maintenance stuff. So if I don't put the right fuel into my body, I'm not going to get the performance out of it. And I'm very lucky in that, well, not lucky, I actually choose to look after myself, choose to feed myself well, and choose to exercise and try and get enough sleep and hydration, and can run at my peak performance. And that's, I think, what we're all after. We all want to be up there without the headaches and the stress, and we want to function at our best. And we can't give our family that either when we're not, looking after ourselves. And I guess it's that focus. It's what you want out of your business. If you want to see it, reach its potential, then you're going to have to put some effort into yourself personally. You're what's running it. You control it. So whatever you're feeding you is what's feeding your business.
Yeah. And I love that quote that's out there about, if you don't want to be cheap, nasty, or fake, don't eat. I've got that the wrong way around. But you know what I mean? Like, you don't want to be cheap, nasty, or fake, don't eat cheap, nasty, or fake, or, something like that. Yeah. But it's interesting because so many things came up in my mind as you were just talking right now. First of all, I love that you said, like, you changed your wording as you were speaking to saying, like, I'm not lucky, but I choose to do those things. Because I think that's even a rewiring in people's minds where they think, oh, I'm just lucky because I have the income. No, like, people that have the income still choose to eat crap, still choose to not have the right drinking choices or whatnot. So I really love that acknowledgement of power of choice. But also just thinking about alcohol, and I was giggling, but I think it becomes like one of those masks for some people, like for a while there, I had my vanilla wafers, and it was like very cheap, and it was a biscuit, and it has a slice of bit of chocolate in, and only cost 55 cents from Coles. So I was like, when I need a fix, I'll go get them. But they're cheap. They give me everything that I need, full of crap.
Of course.
Because they're cheap, there's no like negative, there's no like, oh, they're so expensive that I can't afford them. Whereas I don't go buy Lindt chocolate all the time because I'm like, that stuff's expensive.
Yeah.
And I got into this pattern of like, yeah, I'll just chill out and I'll have these. This is like a treat. It doesn't become a treat when it becomes like a constant thing.
No.
And then I started to pay attention to, and I do want to talk to you about food diaries, but I started to pay attention to how often I was having them. And it was regularly when I was like, what should I be doing right now to fill this time? Vanilla wafers.
There's some berries.
Yeah. So, but then I've always, and this is, I think it's quite interesting. In the past, I said when I didn't want to eat things, I would have apple or have fruit or go for a run instead. And then I got to a point when I was doing like 40 hours of exercise a week. And then was like, you can't do that either. That in itself is its own mask. So it's really in a combination of exercise. I've had other guests on about that, exercise and nutrition, working on your self-awareness and self-love, making a kind of matrix, I guess, of how it all pieces together so you don't have food as a mask to something, I feel.
That's a really important thing. Most of my clients do. I would say maybe 99% of my clients all have a mask when it comes to food. It's not really about the food, it's the mask they wear and what they use the food for. So it's just something that as you slowly become more aware, you can make, but like you said, you were aware and yet you exercised and exercised and exercised. Mm-hmm. And to the point where how much exercise can you do? You know, it's a good question because you can't just keep doing that because you're going to need those bickies to give you energy, but kind of counterproductive. But, those realizing why you're doing it, if you can take the focus away from it being a weight issue and, getting your head and gut working together and being on the same team, that's a big point that I try and focus on with my clients, especially people that are overweight. That all they can focus on is the weight. Or what's it doing to my weight? What's it doing to my weight? You might have heard that. Is it a moment on the lips is a lifetime on the hips?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's the big thing. People forget. It's very transient that you think, oh, no, that's not healthy. But you really got to think about that. That is not healthy. If you start to be more aware that it actually isn't healthy, I can make a better choice. And I can have that when I want a less healthy choice. When I'm not hanging for it, that's the time to have it. Because when we say to ourselves, no, 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 it makes us want it more.
Yeah.
And that's a really big thing I find with most people. So it works with kids too, works with dogs, works with anybody. If you say no to something, they want it. So it's not a no, it's just moderating it, So a lot of the times I give my clients other healthier choices. Like one lady that I'm working with, she really craves sweets late at night. Mm-hmm. So I've given her, even though she doesn't particularly like it, I said, just when you really can't, when you're really hanging out, have a piece of dark chocolate with the 70% cocoa, not like 6 blocks of it, but just, it's okay. There's some other little treats you can have that are better choices than the wafer with the chocolate in between it. You can have those things. They're not, they're not way out in the ballpark. They're not going to knock your health out of the ballpark again either. So just giving people those other options, I find, is a really big thing. And knowing why, why don't you want to have the wafer? Why didn't you want to have it personally?
Because it was connected to weight, really.
Yeah. And that's a really big thing. When we get away from just the weight issue, get your head right and your gut right, and your weight comes off. Your weight follows. You don't have to worry about your weight. And you'll be running at your peak performance because you're feeding it right.
And it's interesting you say that because a friend of mine who's a hypnotherapist on the Gold Coast, I said to her, like, can you remove coffee from your life? Because I love coffee. And I think a lot of business owners are into their coffee. I was like, I know you can do hypnotherapy to remove coffee from my life, but I still want to have like one a day. And she just laughed at me. She was like, are you for real? Like, you can't do that. Like, you're either in or you're out. Like, moderate. Like, you just can't do that.
Yeah.
So, well, I guess I have to work on it. And it got me to think about what are the reasons, like what you're saying, what are the reasons why I want the coffee? And often it was so that I could meet people when I was out. It was all about social reasons, or I'd catch up with friends. And so I changed how I socialize, where we'll go for a walk instead. We're making it a lot more active. Or we'll go do shopping instead of, one of my girlfriends doing clothes shopping on her own and me doing clothes shopping on her own, and then us sending photos by Facebook, just doing different catch-ups that are not involving coffee. Because the other thing I found too in Toowoomba, it gets so darn cold. Sometimes I just want it as warmth. Nothing about the taste of it or anything at all. And at one point in winter this year, because it was like -8 one day. It was so freezing cold. Then I was like, I don't even like the taste. Why am I still drinking this? And so I changed it to just hot water and just held it in my favorite mug. And then once the water got cold, I just threw it out. Like, don't need that anymore.
And that's a prime example of comfort. Comfort is something that just gives us comfort. And now eating can be, for many people, the same. So many people message me and say, I'm a comfort eater, I'm a comfort eater, I'm a comfort eater. We're all comfort eaters to a degree. We get hunger pains, we eat for comfort. We eat to ease those comfort pains, hunger pains, sorry. But it's just a matter of, not letting that take hold of what we do and who we are and all the rest of it. And like you did, you just hold a hot cup of water, you got the same satisfaction from it, and then you got rid of it. It's true. There's so many different things like that. But also on your point about a social thing, if you look at food and eating is very social. We get together with our families, we put on big spreads, Christmas and Easter and birthdays. We go out for dinner a lot more now too. Well, maybe not since COVID, but we were going out for dinner a lot more. So it's all about the social side of it. And you can still be social without just getting in there and making a bit of a pig of yourself with food. It shouldn't be about that. And it just takes that control. And I notice it a lot with people that it becomes a real, got to go here, got to go there. And they plan what they're even going to eat before they go, so they don't step out of that boundary of what they've set themselves. And I think that's an awesome idea for many people that can't control that. Saying to yourself, well, yeah, I'm going to order the chicken. You can look up menus online now of what the place has before you go, and making a good, healthy choice, so that when you get there, your friends are looking, you're looking, and it's that pressure of, I'm going to have this, what are you going to have? And you go, I already know. It's done. Done, dusted. It's over. You don't have to even look at it. Yeah. So that works for a lot of my clients, just doing that, because a lot of people are really scared of going out for dinner. So once they decided that they want to do something about their weight and their health, or for other reasons, they might be diabetic or whatever they might be, they become very, I can't. Yeah, well, you can. It's just a matter of just changing that mindset and believing that you got to step out of your head and into your life. A lot of what we tell ourselves about our food is in our head. I spoke with a lady yesterday. I had a session with a lady yesterday, and I said, when you really want something that isn't great for you, what is your head saying? And she said, I can start again tomorrow.
Yeah.
What if there was? And she has a lot of health issues also. But I said, what if this one more thing is going to push you over the edge? No, you don't know that healthy choice. No, it's okay to crave something. I mean, everyone does. I crave sugars and things like that also. And I mean, I've got 5 kids. My husband doesn't eat vegetables, salad veggies at all, or no fruit. So, and I'm a nutritionist, so I can't change what he eats. It's got to come from, what he does and how he feels. Same as all my kids. They're great eaters, but it's a real personal choice as to how far you want to go with the sugars and the things like that. But we know now how much those foods aren't great for us. So if we can, get our head around that guilty feeling of eating and then pushing it aside, because our head says, oh, no, I'm going to feel bad, but have it anyway, and we can do it later. Or, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. But, how many not that bads make it bad?
Yeah.
Or unhealthy?
I love that, because I don't know if you've read Atomic Habits.
I was going to ask you that.
But he talks about the 1%ers and how essentially, I love his analogy, where if you change the trajectory of your flight by 1%, you end up in a completely different destination. And I think about that so much ever since I've read that book, because it's the same as what you were just saying. Like, if you just, or one slightly different meal, one slightly different choice, then suddenly your body is in a completely different shape. And I remember actually having the same sort of conversation with my very, really first hardcore PT that I had. He absolutely slammed me for putting on half a kilo, I think. And I was like, I really think you're an asshole for slamming me for putting on half a kilo. I was really angry. And he was like, well, don't think that. First of all, ask yourself, if you allow yourself to put on a kilo, will you then allow yourself to put on a half a kilo? Will you allow yourself to put on a kilo, and then another kilo, and then another kilo? Where does it end? It's not about making you not enjoy your life. It's more about recognizing that not making those positive choices will take you in a completely different direction. And it's really important to yeah, like you say, keep thinking a, a little bit further ahead from where we are right now, so we do make those right food choices and drinking choices too. The different beverages and things that we have. And I think that food diary stuff really helps in that as well, because it gives us that real good overview picture of, holy dooly, I put that into my body this week.
Yes. It's a
So,
real awareness.
oh my God, yes, it is such an awareness. So talk to us about food diaries, if you don't mind.
Okay. So I use a food diary. There, you can get apps. I've got apps that do it, and I can get people to write it down in a book, like I think you might be doing. I'm not sure which way you're doing it. Um, I, I basically, when I'm working with someone, I decide which way, after speaking them for a bit, which way I will suggest for them to go, because often calorie counting is not a great thing. So this is not what it's about. A food diary is not about counting your calories. It's just to make you aware of what you're putting into your body and make me aware of what you're putting into your body, so that I can look at what you're eating and say, well, we could make a better choice in this section here. So very rarely do I get a food diary off somebody that all their choices are really, really bad. So I can work with that then with them. So we can look at what they're eating, make them aware. They can look at it. We can sit down together and I go, now, out of those choices, I want you to mark the really great choices in a pink highlighter, the not so great ones in a green highlighter, and the ones that really probably weren't good in a yellow highlighter. So we can actually see it, pull it all apart. And it makes them much more aware, like you just said. You're aware now of, because you've been writing it, at what's going into it. But when you start pulling it apart like that also, it's like, yeah, okay. And then you don't feel so guilty also. Because once I've pulled it apart, often you find that their good choices and their not so good choices are pretty much in line with each other. They're actually not doing too bad. It's just those random choices, with your wafer biscuits with the chocolate in the middle or something like that, and it is, and people say, oh, but it's just a treat. But you don't have to, you can treat yourself with, we get used to treats. We actually make treats a habit. A treat used to be, you'd say to you, well, years ago, I know when I was growing up, we didn't get many treats. A treat was once a week, not every day. Now it's every day. And it might only be a small thing, but like your coach said, if you have that treat every night, it adds up to a big thing. It's just making people more aware of that. It also gives me, like I said, a good idea of what they're eating and how I can help. Some people, I work with some people who are really bad with carbohydrate. They get moody, they get anxious. It really affects them. Some people not. It doesn't affect them at all. So it gives me a good insight into what they're eating, have a few sessions with them, and we slowly start working on their diet from there, which is very, very effective. I know a lot of people say, oh, I've spoken to different dietitians and nutritionists, oh, we don't do that anymore. And I think, well, I do. I think it's a really, really good way of making both the nutritionist and the client aware of what they're putting into their body. And you've become more aware, so it's worked.
Yeah, it's interesting. I would have never thought about foods and your moods in the sense of like carbohydrates affecting things. Although, with that said, as you were talking about it, I was sitting here going, when I'm feeling like I need a hug and I don't have anyone around, fettuccine carbonara, come at me.
Exactly. We were talking before about, your directors of companies and your high performers, and it's the same. That's a similar thing. It might be that, the carbohydrate, they're saying now that there's a link for people that suffer from depression. If they have carb first thing in the morning, their depression is out of control through the day and their anxiety. So whether it's that spike in blood sugar first thing in the morning, who knows? And then they have no control for the rest of the day. But if they don't have a carb-filled diet for breakfast, they seem to be on a more level playing field. Nothing against carbs. I'm not saying that. It could be anything. Some people, it could be the fructose in sugar. It could be the lactose in dairy. It could be different gut bacteria that sets different people off. That's been linked to autism and all kinds of things. So food is a huge thing, like it really is. And like for our high reachers, our big company directors, food is going to affect the way they perform.
Yeah.
Without a doubt,
I find that so fascinating. Yeah. Just want to get my hands on more information about it. It's very, very interesting. So what's the after they've done the highlighting, with food diaries? What's the next step for people, for them to get a bit of an idea of what it's like working with you? Are they taking some of those foods out, or what are they doing? What's the best way you empower them to move forward?
Well, some people will move at a very slow pace, and that's part of me getting to know them a little bit. So by the first session, I will actually have a pretty good idea of, before they've even done their food diary, which way I'd be best working with them. It's really up to them in a lot of ways. Some people, like I said, like to move fast. Some people not so fast. Some people, I can change their diet totally. They will stick with it. They will run with it. It'll be most effective. It's a good thing for them to, what I try and aim at is to get them to realise what they're eating. Like I said, that's why we do the food diary. We highlight, we see what our good choices were. We see maybe what other choices we could have made in the not so good section. And then often I get them to take out just one thing out of their really no-no section for the week. We're just going to work on not having that for the week, seeing how they go with that. Some people I can take that right away. That's not an issue at all. But some people I can't. I had one young mum who came to me and all she was struggling with was 2 kilos, and it was post-baby weight, and it was like, I can't drop it. And she tried shakes, and it was an emotional thing as well. So her body was just holding it. She's now dropped 11 kilo. So she's actually looking really, really good. She only wanted to drop 2 because she thought she'd look. Her body found its own pace. Her body found its own way. She's wrapped. She's not going by sizes and the amount of weight she lost, but she's down to a size 10 and she's feeling fantastic. She's eating really well, but it was slow for her. The weight loss wasn't slow. It was a good half a kilo. Well, I guess it was half a kilo a fortnight, but the changing the food to now where she makes pasta, she'll have a cup of pasta for everybody. This is a main meal for her and her 2 children, and the rest will be like 4 cups of veggies.
Yeah.
So it's that kind of thing. And it was slowly every day, every week she sent in her food diary. We'd sit together, we'd have a look at the food diary, and I'd ask her where she thinks she could change it. She'd send me messages and say, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And I'd say, well, I'd rather you just try this instead because it's more unprocessed and all the rest of it. But now she's running all on her own. She's kept the weight off. Her family's eating better. Her husband's lost weight without even realising it. And that's what I aim for. When someone does me a food diary, it's not just about them. It's about anyone else in their family, their friends, their mums and dads, anyone that it can affect. I'm working with another young girl who's 13 and has some real self-esteem issues and love of self and weight issues as well. So she's been through a bit of a hard time. But me helping her has already started helping her mum. So, which is a great thing. And that's what we're looking at with the food diaries and becoming more aware of what we're eating. You look at it, you tell me what you want to change, and I'll tell you whether that can work or not. Because it's got to come from you. There's no point in me implementing a whole heap of new foods that you don't even like. And that's another part of the food diary. I can say, here's a food plan, go away. But if it's not what you're used to eating or similar, you're not going to do it.
I think that's so important when it comes to nutrition, because so many people think that the reason why they failed with nutrition in the past is because, or having a better eating plan is because they just simply couldn't do it, or they didn't have a tough enough mindset or whatever. But actually they're trying to eat paleo or keto or something and hate what's in it. Absolutely hate it, or they're eating 6 meals a day when they're used to having 3, and even 3 is a struggle for them. So they're changing so many things so quickly, and it's not even about what they enjoy eating at all whatsoever. So motivation, typically motivation is the last thing we work on using because it's something changes all the time, but it's so hard to even have any level of motivation, let alone get that consistent action happening. It's a big one, but I think what you said is also super powerful in that you give them the driver's seat and you guide them through it, because I find the same thing with coaching is that some people come and they say, I want you to just tell me what to do. And then I'm like, yeah, but if I tell you what to do, then when I'm not here, what will you do? You just put your hands up in the air and go, I can't do this. That's not empowering for you. You need to know what are the steps I'm going to take to continually do this for myself. So I love that you have that approach. And I think it's obviously the reason why we connect as well. Yeah.
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 And that empowering people is really like yourself. It's really important because it's like you said, when you're not there or they can't reach you, because I get a lot of messages at odd times. They'll be out to dinner. What do I choose? And I often say to them, well, if I wasn't here, what would you choose? You know what to choose. You don't need me to tell you what to choose. And they become slowly more empowered and they realize, oh, I actually can do this, you know. So I'm a bit of an accountability coach as well, a bit of a life coach, throw that in there, just giving them the support they need. And I find that's a really big thing. I have a few clients that come and they've seen dietitians before, and I'm not bagging anybody by any means, but they've seen dietitians before. They have type 2 diabetes. They don't want to go back to a dietitian because of the other person that they saw, because they give them this food plan. They say, look, eat this, go away. It's not working. They can't stick to it. Like you said, they can't stick to it, but there's no comeback. You can't ring them and say, hey, I just can't do this. What do I do? It's basically you have that appointment. This is what you're doing. See you later, out the door. Whereas I work totally differently. I know that it's really hard to change habits just after 1 or 2 sessions. You know, you've got a lifetime of eating not well for a lot of us, you know. Yeah. So, and then you want to change it in 6 weeks or 8 weeks or even 2 visits. That is pretty much impossible. You can't do it.
Yeah.
You know, so to empower people to say that they can do it, it's not impossible. Working with another lady who's been dieting all her life, had massive heart surgery and is scared now, really, truly scared, and finally wants to do something about her weight. But she has fad dieted for the last 40 years. Mm-hmm. And I was sitting, and I know her personally as well, so I was sitting with her that what makes this time different?
Yeah.
You know, what's gonna empower you to do it? She goes, oh, maybe I shouldn't be. I said, I'll be with you all the way. I will be beside you. You can ring me. I will help you through this, but you still have to be committed to do it. It still has to come from you. And of course it's her health, and she has a big scar, and you can see it. You can't cover it up. It goes all the way up. So she said, this is why I want to do it. That's motivation. It's sad that it took that to get to there. But this, you know, but she still needs the support. It's you know, in her head, she's failed that many times at doing it that she needs you there for as long as she does to guide her through that. And that's what I love about doing what I do. I love helping people, you know, regardless of anything else, the changes I see in people, the motivation they have, the inspiration they have to tell people to just eat well. It's not about fad dieting and, you know, anything like that, pushing it on people, just eating well and, you know, picking yourself up the next day if you think, oh, I didn't have a great day yesterday, and starting again, you know, and having that support there to do it, like you do with your clients also.
And I so love that, you know, saying even 6 or 8 weeks, whatever, you're not going to change what's been happening for ages, because I am so about that with mindset, like everything to do with self-love and self-worth. You know, I purposely make it expensive for people to have 1 or 2 sessions with me, because I'm not a fad diet. You know, like you know, I'm not this magic pill that you're going to have for 1 hour and it'll change, you know, all these issues, all these concerns, all these frustrations and fears that you have. And so I really resonate with you sharing with that, because I say to people, minimum 3 months if you don't think that there's too much going on there, but really probably 6 months is really where it's at.
Yeah.
That depends also on level of commitment, because everyone chooses, you know, when you sign up to work with someone, you've got to then actually put in the time and the effort to get the results that you want. And that's another good part about, you know, the sort of structure that you have and I have too, in the sense that if people aren't showing up for themselves, then the accountability is on them. It's not on you, because you want to empower them. You don't want them to become the person that blames you for their success, which doesn't, I guess, move you as the business owner who doesn't want to be accountable, but rather just makes sure that they're fully aware that it's only on them to get to where they want to be. So I guess kind of just thinking back over quite a few things we've talked about, you get to own your success so much more, I think, when it comes from that point of view. Like, and that's more empowering when you've come from a place of having to own your failures as well.
Yeah. And I know a lot of clients will say, oh, it's all because of you. And I say, no, it's got nothing to do with me. It's all from you. I've helped you, you know, put one foot in front of the other and guided that, but you still have to put in the hard yards. I can't make you do it. You know? Yeah. So, and I love that about with people, that they put it all back on them, and then they are empowered to share how the other people can change their lives and make a difference, because, you know, they have accomplished it. If they can do it, anyone can, you know. So it comes back onto you in the long term. But, you know, giving them that power to take control of their lives, they will share that with everyone, because you know what it's like. It's so empowering when you've, you know, accomplished something that you know, stepped out of your comfort zone. I climbed a mountain on the weekend, and I'm scared of heights here in Pomona, so I climbed that with my 2 girls, and I've lived here for oh goodness me, probably 7 years, and I've never done it. I've never climbed that mountain. But making myself do it, I felt like Superwoman by the end of it. It was like, woohoo! So, you know, so it was really, really good for me. And my daughter also, who was scared of heights, that pushing her, she said to me afterwards, she's 13, Mum, that was so good. I want to do it again. I want to do it again. Let's do it again. So, you know, giving people that power with their food and their health is, to me, that's the biggest reward. Seeing them really, really take hold of that power and run with it. That's what I love.
Yeah. And I think too, once you start to have some of those alternatives that you might introduce people to, like the dark chocolate or whatnot, then suddenly the perception of what I can have that is healthy for me and does fit that sweet treat category is like, whoa, there's so many options that I'm not going to feel guilty about. So I can really love food. And that's what I love about nutrition, because I love food. Like,
I love food. People say to me all the time, you know, because I'm a very active person, and I eat more than my husband. Like, seriously, I love my food, but I'm active, and I have lots of good choices, and I'm, you know, I'm always rushing around doing things, but I eat big meals. I eat a lot of food, and people look at me and think, do you? I'm not thin by any means, but I'm healthy, and I love me, and I look in the mirror and I'm happy with me. I think I'm great. I have no qualms about it. And I tell people, you got to eat more, you know, like eat more healthy choices. And food's not bad. Food's not the devil. We should enjoy our food. Food is meant to be fun. You know, I mean, my kids, I have birthday parties and we make awesome cheesecakes and stuff like that. So, you know, but it's just being balanced. That's all it is. It's just balance.
Yeah. And things that I love too about food is like getting all the senses going, you know, smelling all the smells and trying, you know, you talk about getting out of your comfort zone, trying something completely new. You know, when I traveled to France, I had snails, which is pretty cliche, but I've had squid risotto and got my whole entire mouth and teeth black. But, you know, things that I didn't know I'd even like, but they were so tasty. And had I been stuck, I guess, pigeonholed in not trying things or not being open to what else I could like, even if it's healthier or sort of that treat like we were talking about before, I would still have a relationship with food where I don't like it. Like I kind of have a hatred towards it, as opposed, because I have that connection to weight. Yeah, we were talking about before.
And that's what I'd like to work on with. I'm trying to implement programs into schools at the moment to work with especially the young teen girls. That is such a big issue, that unhealthy relationship with food, and it's just all linked together. They do hate it and they're starving themselves. And a lot of them are still overweight. They don't get that that actually doesn't work. You can't starve yourself and the weight just fall away. It's emotionally entangled in them, you know, so it's pulling that all apart. And this one young person I'm working with at the moment, you know, it's reading food labels. It's like looking at what she's writing in a food diary and telling me what were good choices, what weren't great choices, what maybe she could change. You know, we've got a long way to go with you know, her even eating in front of people, which I think is really sad. I think, you know, that someone could starve themselves just so that people don't judge them, because they don't want people to look at them and say, oh, she's too fat, she shouldn't be eating. And I think that's terrible. And what kind of relationship, you know, are people having with their food when it's like that? I mean, you know, that's asking for food issues later on in life too, bulimia and anorexia and all those things. And even young boys, actually, people think it's a girl thing, but it's becoming very predominant in young males, which is really, really sad, you know. So, you know, we all need to look at ourselves, regardless of our weight and size. We all need to look at ourselves and love our bodies for what they are. You know, they carry us around all day. Our brain functions at an optimal level. You know, we do so many amazing things. We reach out to people. We help people. We're empowering. We're just awesome. We're just $1 trillion supercomputer, as Kerwin Ray would say. We're just pumping. We always are. We've got so much to offer each other, and yet we sit there and look at ourselves and go, oh, I'm going to eat this because I feel sad because I'm fat. Our body doesn't care, that doesn't know that it's fat. Our body doesn't know that we're struggling with this or that. It just keeps going. No matter what you ask of it, it just keeps going. So learn to love you the way you are, and it will come away. You love yourself, you're going to look after yourself better. That's just the way. If you love your car, you look after it, don't you? You've got other things that you really love. You do. You look after it. You love yourself, you will look after you, and you will put better foods into it. And that's what I'm trying to implement into the schools as well with the girls. Look in the mirror, tell yourself you're beautiful, do what you have to do. It's same with exercise. People pump themselves and train so hard just to get that elite body. Well, we're going to get older, honey. It's all going to fall away eventually anyway. That's great. I think it's awesome that you want to be fit and healthy and you push yourself. I love it too. I box 5 days a week. Some days I do 2 classes, and I love it. It's really tough. And I do enjoy that, but it's not about having a ripped body. It's about my head feeling amazing and my body following suit. And that's the way I love to help my clients. That's exactly what I teach them too.
Yeah. And I think that'll be so powerful with teenagers too, because, when I've thought about, because I've done stuff on my food story before, I've thought about things that I've heard as I've been growing up and things that I have said as an adult around kids, around food and my choices and what you should and shouldn't do. And then gone, hang on a minute, you could have stopped that and think about what is the right things to be saying. And it's interesting because when I think about both of them, when I first did my food story, I actually had a conversation with my mum, who has often talked about, diets and eating well, and also is absolutely gung-ho at exercise, like goes nuts all the time at exercise. And we talked about why the conversations were kind of like the way that they are, but I still noticed myself, even though I was aware of it, sometimes falling back into the habits of what I was used to hearing for so long, different conversations. I also grew up with people who, would talk about what size they were wearing, even though there's no universal size to clothing and all that kind of really helpful stuff for young people. And then, having conversations with kids, sometimes I have to catch myself going, hang on, that's the same sort of thing that I've just learned. Not just learned, have learned for like 8 years now, is something that I should not be saying. Let me rephrase that right now. Because that I find is a really hard part about nutrition. Like as you move forward, thinking about being at role models, especially if you're leading teams and things like that, because you might have people who are not seeing a nutritionist or whatnot, but you might be that person that is doing that in your, I guess, herd, if you want to call it, that can be shining the light on a different way to think about nutrition.
Yeah, and sometimes that can be damaging also though. So what someone's learning, especially with young girls and boys, I'm talking, and even with adults, the way someone views, it's just, you see people that will go on the low carb diet and they're pumping and they've got this power and they're doing this, and they don't look that great by the time they've been on it for a few years, by the way. But saying that's fine if they like it. All power to them. But them, they can say sometimes, it's like a husband saying to his wife, gee, your butt looks big in those shorts, or something like that. We just say little things sometimes that can really change the way people think of themselves and view themselves in a negative way. We don't mean it, it's just we say it because we love them or we're just trying to help. My daughters are very into nutrition also, because I am, but they do it in a kid's way. So they'll say things to kids sometimes and go, that's rubbish, you shouldn't be eating that. And I think that's all the kids got. You can't go saying, you know what I mean? Can't go saying that kind of thing to them. It's really tough, I think. Like you said, we carry on that verbal way of speaking sometimes. Like I've corrected myself a few times because I've said lucky or a bad food, which, like I said before, there's no good and bad food, but people say it all the time, or they say, I've been naughty, I shouldn't have eaten that. You say that in front of your kid, like straight away, if you've said that in front of your child, they're thinking, what's naughty? Kids pick up on this stuff after year of hearing it. You don't have to be talking to them about it. It's just something that a program that they pick up along the way. And we all have so many of those pre-programmed things happening. And it's just, we oftentimes want to help people, but oftentimes we're going in the wrong direction. So it's an eggshelly kind of thing a lot of the time with nutrition. It's like accidentally saying to someone, this is probably totally irrelevant, but you can ask a young lady when the baby's due and she's not pregnant.
Yeah.
And straight away you think, oh no, what did I do that for? So I've learned, to just be like more careful with what I say and all the rest of it. So, but young people can be very not great at that. They put their foot in their mouth all the time, and sometimes that can cause damage.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely a whole lot to learn, and I think starting the process, you sort of break down into pieces where you can make traction for yourself that will give you more confidence in how you can feel your body better. I mean, I don't like necessarily the word fuel sometimes, because you need to put some fuel into your body, but also I think sometimes people have that connotation in their mind that it's only just to exercise.
Yeah.
But it is for, everyday activities as well. And so, I'm conscious about the kinds of words that I use. But when we understand what we are putting in our body and how it makes us feel when we're doing it, different things that we can have as options, like healthy and sweet treats, then we are so much more empowered to be able to change our health state. And it really has a massive flow-on effect to, as we were talking about, our mindset with whatever we're trying to achieve, whether that's, boxers or athletes or high performers in business or in the corporate space or elsewhere, just giving ourselves the opportunity to be able to function the best way by having those, whole nutritious foods. And as you said, I just want to reiterate because it's been a little while since you mentioned it, is 80% of like eating well and 20% having fun. No space for fun with your food to really enjoy it and have a positive relationship. Yeah. It's been really cool talking about nutrition with you today.
Thanks. I've enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's been really, really cool. So for those people listening, Sarah is offering help to any one of my clients or those that are going to be jumping on as my clients. And as you can tell from this podcast episode, she's incredibly knowledgeable and knows how to assist a variety of different people. So we'll have the links to how to connect with her at Food Nutrition, in the show notes. So you can get access there. I'm actually going to be doing some work with Sarah myself. So if you want to ask me any questions before you do that, feel free. I don't think you'll need to. I think this episode is going to give you more than enough proof of her worth and how she's going to be able to help you. But I just really want to say thank you so much for joining me, for offering this help to people as well. And I'm just so pleased that you have similar values with me when it comes to me, not with me, when it comes to helping people, sustainable solutions and empowering people so that they can keep those solutions for life. It's so cool.
Yeah. I have a little saying that might sound silly to a lot of people, but I'm trying to change the world one meal at a time. That's my goal. It might sound ridiculous, but, I really feel you got to start somewhere, and I've started. That's where I'm starting.
Yeah. And it's a great place to start. Those little incremental changes. Love it. Good one.
Okay. Thank you.
No, you're welcome. All right. Well, we are going to close up this episode right now. But if you've enjoyed it, please feel free to take a screenshot, share it on your Instagram or Facebook, and tag Magnetic Confidence in it. We'd also love to get a review from you so that we can continue getting amazing guests on as well. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see/hear you rather. My goodness, that's an episode and a half. We will be connecting with you soon on another episode of Podcast Mindset or on our social channels. Thank you. Ciao.